Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we will be covering JavaScript DOM. Okay, so in our previous video we have learned about JavaScript DOM, which was browser object model, but today we will be covering document object model. Okay, so most of you must be thinking like what exactly DOM is. So DOM, if I tell you about or explain you about DOM in simple terms, so let's say there you had some money and you purchased a flat, okay, or a house. Fine. Now once you have purchased a house, you need to have some furnitures to put in your house, right? So furniture is must when you have a house. Okay, so this is the house, and you need to have some furniture when you purchase the house. Okay, and once you have the furniture, you need to arrange those in your house, right? Then only you can live, right? So the way of arranging these furniture inside this particular house is basically called as DOM, which is document object model. Similarly, in JavaScript, you have a web page, okay? This is your web page, fine. This is web page, okay? So inside the web page, you have the web elements wherein your web page consists of text, okay? Your web page consists of images. It also you can also add videos to it, okay? It also contains paragraphs, right? And many more. Okay, so these are all the web elements inside a web page, right? So if you compare these two, this is example number one, like in real time, and this is example number two for explaining what is DOM in JavaScript. So here, or DOM in HTML, okay, both are same. So here in the first example, house is my web page, and the furniture which I have to arrange inside my house, that is the web elements of your web page. Okay, similarly in the second example, text, images, videos, your paragraphs, your audios, anything which you put it into your web page and arrange it, those is known as document object model. That means DOM. So basically what happens in DOM is, with the help of the JavaScript and DOM, you tell the browser that yes, this is what we are working with. Okay, that means you tell the browser that I'm working with text, or I am implementing a video in my web page, or an image in my web page, okay, or a paragraph in my web page. So JavaScript as well as DOM does the work for you when you are working in a web development or in a web page development. Okay, so that is all about DOM. So DOM means arranging your web elements, like name, or like tags or IDs or text, images, videos, paragraph, stuff like that. So arranging those into your web page is the DOM. That means document object models. It's all about how you place a model, how you arrange a model. Okay, fine. So that was an example. Hope now it's clear. So let's work in the JavaScript and let's try to understand DOM more in depth. Okay, so let's say today I'll be working with two. Let's say I work with ID and I also work with names. Okay, so these are all elements of HTML, okay, or your web elements, IDs, names, tags. These are all elements, right? These are all tags, IDs, names, or numbers. These are tags. Okay, so I'll work with ID and I work with number as well. Okay, so for that we'll start off with script. Okay, and then inside this I'll just write the function. So let's say the function is MSG, and inside this I just write a variable, let's say v, okay, and I write document dot get element by. Now here tag name is written, okay? So you need to replace this particular tag name. As I said, first of all, let's work with ID. So I'll replace this tag name by ID, okay? And inside this, let's say the tag name is number. Fine. And dot value, okay? And after this, so basically in this particular code, what I am trying to do in the output is I'm trying to find like there would be a button, okay, wherein you will have some value. Let's say the value is cube, okay? So whenever the user clicks on this particular button, okay, so whenever the user click on this particular button, so it will, you will be able to print the cube of the number which is entered by the user. Okay, so basically here in the JavaScript, what we are doing is we are calling the element, okay, that is the tag ID, okay, so getElementByID number. This is the number which we want to work with, okay, the number which the user is giving. So once you will, the user enters the number and then click on the button, so then an alert message will come up. So inside alert, you can just write the cube of a number, that is variable is v in which cube is stored. So v multiplied by v multiplied by v. Okay, fine. That is all about the scripting part. Now come out of the script and then you have to like create a form. Let's say we have a form structure, okay? Form means a structure, you're giving it to your web page, wherein you say the user that enter number, okay? And what would be the type of the number? So in case of that, you can write input, and then type can be textual, name can be number, okay? And since we are working with ID over here, that means that's DOM, so ID can be also number, okay? And I want this into like the next line, so I'll just add a break over here, and to the next line I will add my element for creation of a button, okay? So I'll write input, and then the type will be a form of a button, okay? Value can be, you can write anything, so I'll write value as a cube because I want to find cube of a number, okay? And on click, now when the button, this particular button is clicked, on click this particular function should be activated, okay? So on click I can write message, and then that's it, okay? And then you can close off the form. Fine. So what is happening over here in this particular program, or in this particular scripting, where you have a script and you have a form as well. So this particular form is the element, okay, which you're actually putting in your web page, okay? And with the help of DOM over here, it's getElementByID. That means ID is playing the role of DOM over here. That means the model, you are calling it with the help of ID, okay? So here this particular part is your web element, okay, wherein you are creating a let's say a button whose name is cube, okay? And whenever the user is clicking on that particular button, it will whatever number is entered by the user, so first line, so the output would be something like this. So it's like enter number, okay, this will come up in the output, fine, and then a colon, okay, and then a box will come up wherein you have to enter the number, okay? And then just underneath there will be like a button inside which the value will be cube, okay? So what will the user do? The user will enter the number, okay? Let's say I enter the number as 5, okay? And when I click on this particular button which says cube, it will give me a alert on the screen, okay? That means this particular alert will come up on the screen. That means v into v into v, that means my output would be 5 cube, which is 125, would be the alert which will come from browser. So in short, what is happening, so combining the web elements, that is this one, and then the ID. So That means JavaScript and DOM both are combined, okay, and it is telling the browser to send an alert once this job is done. That means I give the number as 5 or any number, I click on the cube, the function is read, and it's getting inside the function, and it gives the alert that yes, the cube of this number is this. Okay, so that's how the DOM is working. So JavaScript is combining with the DOM, that means your web elements, and then it is telling the browser that this alert should come up from the browser. Okay, so if we just try to run this particular code, let's save this off, and this is inside Win, so I'll just open this. Okay, now if you see over here, there is enter a number which we wrote inside a form. There is a place where you can enter a number, and there is a button which says cube as the value. Okay, now here if we just, let's say, enter the number as 6, and then we click on cube. Okay, so this time it's not working. Let's check. So let's check if everything is working fine or not, then only the cube button will work. So okay, now if you see over here, document spelling, so document, okay, that was one mistake. Let's save it and try to run it off. So sure, we'll enter the number again. Suppose the number is 3. Okay, then let's again check for any more errors if it's there. So here the document, and here there should be no s, it's document.getElementByID. Okay, now let's go ahead and check this off. Let me save this, refresh this. So here I enter a number, let's say, let me zoom it off. So let's say the number is 5. I click on cube. So here if you see, from the browser the alert came up, the cube of the number, that means 5 into 5 into 5, that means it's 125. Okay, so that's how a DOM works. Okay, so you give a function, and inside the function you are taking getElementByID. That means we are actually working with the web element which is number or which is ID, and then inside that we just want to get an alert from the browser that I want to print the cube. So what we did, we took the variable wherein you are actually getting the ID, that means the number you're getting it from this particular form. Okay, so that's how you can use it with the help of a web element, the DOM, that is ID. Okay, same thing you can do it with the help of a, let's say we talk about name. Okay, so get element by name. So in name, let's say we take an example, we have 2 genders, male and female, and we want to find out the total, how many genders are there. Okay, so in that case what we can do, let's say I change this to name. Okay, so get element by name, fine. And here since we are working with gender, that means we have to find out how many gender are there. Let's say, so in short, from the browser there will be let's say if the gender is male and female, then the total number of gender would be 2, that is male and female. So the output which will come from the browser, an alert which will come from the browser, that is 2. Okay, so here we write as gender, and then in the alert field what you can do, you can just write, let's say total gender is, that means you are actually finding out the length, right? So we can write v dot length, fine. That's a scripting part. Now when we move on to the form part, so in the form section what we want, so these are the structure which you are giving it to your JavaScript or to your HTML. Okay, that means how your DOM should look like. You are actually structuring with the help of the web elements like the ID, number, name, or button, or tags, paragraphs. Okay, so over here you are structuring it. So now since we are working with gender, so let's say we have in the output as, there should be one written as male, okay, and there should be a radio button, and then other should be written as female, okay, and then again there should be a radio button. Okay, radio button will be in the form of circle. okay, and then there should be like deleted, there will be a button, okay, like male, female, and there would be a button which will say, let's say, total gender, okay, total gender. I'm just representing my TG, okay. So that's how like with the output would look like. So in short, here I'm just using get element by name as a representation for the DOM, okay. That means I'm using the tag name, okay. And now I'll be changing these. So let's say my first one is, as I said, it is male, okay, and the input type should be in a form of a radio button. So I'll take this as radio, okay. The name should be gender, fine. And here we don't need the ID, so in place of ID what we can do, we can write the value. That means value can be male, okay. Same thing we need to do it for the female as well, so we can just copy this off and then let's put this off over here, okay. And okay, we need to just change this value, so here we can write female, okay, and here we need to change it female, fine. Then our the button which we want, that is here the value should be, let's say, total gender, okay. And on click, this particular function will get activated, okay. So these things we have given. Now what would be the alert when the button is clicked? So there would be a button total gender. When it is clicked, it will give me the length of that particular variable in which my gender, that means my tag name, is stored, okay. So here what's happening, given an example of DOM, here we are taking get element by name, okay. So here the tag name is name, okay. And then it will just give an alert from the browser, like the JavaScript and DOM together will give an alert from the browser that yes, this is the length, this is the total number of gender. That means calculating the length, that is male and female, that means 2. So the output will be total gender 2, okay. Let's save this off and then try to run this. So let's refresh this. Now if you see, there is male and then a radio button got created, female and then a radio button got created, and then there is a button which says total gender, okay. So when we click on this total gender, then from the browser there should output come up, okay. Now let's check off if everything looks good, okay. So let's check it. So here if you see, here it's returning, it's not returning a single element, it's returning multiple elements at a time. That means the length it is actually returning. So when it is returning multiple elements at a time in the function, like in this function, when it is returning multiple elements, then you have to change this to get elements by name, okay. When it's returning single element, like in the previous, when we did with get element by ID, at that point of time, you can just write get element by ID. Okay, that's the change you need to take care of. So now let's save it and then refresh it. So male, female, and then total gender. When we click on total gender, yeah, there is the prompt from the or alert from the browser. The total number of gender is 2. Okay, so that's how the whole DOM structure looks like. You create your web page, you place your elements, you arrange your elements. That means like your, how we did it here, that means we had some text, we had some radio buttons, some buttons, okay. We also had some feature like when we click on it there will be a prompt. So these are all structuring your web page, okay, how you are arranging your elements. So you are arranging your elements, that means that is a DOM, document object model. And then the DOM get combines with the JavaScript. So how it get combines, this is what the JavaScript it get combines with. So this is basically the DOM and it get combines with the JavaScript, and then it gives you the output like what we want in this particular case, the prompt from the browser that the total number of gender should be 2. Okay.